Death isn't always the end. For some, it's just a passage, a door to something they can't fully describe. In total darkness, a tunnel of light appears. In absolute silence, a voice speaks from within. In this video, we're diving into the world of those who died but came back. 10 real experiences from people whose hearts had stopped, confirmed by doctors. But when they returned, they weren't just alive, they were changed. Some saw peace, some pure terror, some brought something back, something that's still with them. Are you ready to enter their stories? Just be warned. After this, life might never feel the same again. Number 1. The girl who spoke a new language after drowning. Maria, 8 years old, drowned in her family's pool. She didn't breathe for 3 minutes. When doctors revived her, she couldn't speak English. She spoke only Spanish, a language no one in her family had ever known. Even stranger, a few days later, her English came back. But she still speaks fluent Spanish to this day. Doctors called it brain damage, but the memory of a new language, that remains unexplained. Number 2, the engineer who saw his own soul. Jack, an electrical engineer, went into cardiac arrest after an electric shock. He saw his own body from above, heard the doctors talking, and even repeated the defibrillator access code, a code that was only visible on the hospital monitor. When the doctor asked, "How did you know that?" he replied, "I was floating in the air, just watching." Number 3. Woman in the tunnel of light. A woman standing in a glowing tunnel with warm white light ahead and shadows behind. Ethereal music waves floating in the tunnel air as she walks slowly forward. Her eyes filled with tears as an invisible voice stops her from going further. Number 4. The 5-year-old who saw his dead grandfather. Cooper lost consciousness after a severe car crash. When he woke up, he looked at his mom and said, "Grandpa told me to come back." Mom's still lonely. His mother was stunned. Cooper had never met that grandfather. He had only ever seen a small photo of him in a family album. Number 5. The woman who saw faceless beings. After a major stroke, Sarah was in a coma for 2 weeks. When she woke up, she said, "I was in a white, silent room. 3 beings stood around me. No eyes, no mouths. They spoke without words, directly into her mind. They asked, 'Do you want to go back?' She replied, 'I don't know.' But then suddenly, she was back." Still with me so far? If you feel something stirring inside you, that's curiosity. It's natural. Hit like, because part 2 of this list might go even deeper. Don't miss what comes next. Number 6. The man who heard the voice of death. Nima was a taxi driver. A horrific crash led to cardiac arrest. When he regained consciousness, he said, "I didn't see anything, but I heard a voice. Not yet. You still have work to do." He later had dreams of that same voice again and again. Now he spends his time volunteering because deep down, he feels he has a mission. Number 7. The cancer patient who healed after her experience. Linda was hospitalized with stage 4 cancer. Her heart stopped, and after being revived, she said, "It felt like every cell in my body was speaking to me. I told them to grow stronger." 3 months later, the cancer was gone. Doctors were stunned. She simply said, "I just talked to them," and somehow they listened. Number 8. The teen who saw his own future. At 16, Alex suffered a stroke. When he came back, he said, "I saw myself at 35. I had a wife, kids, and I was living in a house I'd never seen before." 5 years later, he spotted that exact house in a different city. And he bought it because he believed that's where he was meant to be. Number 9. The blind man who saw for the first time. Bob had been blind since birth. He briefly died from kidney failure. When he came back, he described things in detail. The nurses were wearing purple. The clock said 4:25, and a woman beside him had red earrings. Everything he said was accurate. When they asked how he saw it all, he simply said, "I saw once," or maybe, "I saw forever." Number 10. The man who described death as systematic. A 68-year-old man, after a heart attack, said, "It wasn't empty. It felt like I was part of a system, like everything about me had already been recorded." He described the experience as being a file inside the mind of something far greater. When he returned, he said, "I'm not afraid of anything anymore, because everything is following a pattern." For some, death was the end, but for these people, it was a new beginning. They saw something, heard something, felt something we still can't fully understand. Science hasn't been able to explain all of these experiences, but one thing is certain. They were changed. And maybe, just maybe, this world isn't the only place we're meant to live. If this video stirred something in your mind, hit like. Don't forget to subscribe and tell us in the comments, if you came back from death, what would you want to have seen?